Alright, let's go ahead and see how you can do the variable casting. Previously we have seen if you divide any integer with another integer or a float, it converts the result into float. For example, if I divide here 34 by perhaps 5, I get here this as the float. Otherwise, if I just divide it by 2, I get here a float of 17. But my question is, I want to put it as integer. So how would you do that? If you check the type of this, it will say that the type is float, but I want this as the integer. So how would you do that? You can simply type here int, and then you can type there 34 divided by 2. So this will convert this into integer. Thereafter, if you check the type of this, you will see there it will become their integer. Alright, let's go ahead and see how you can define here list, tuple, set and dictionary. So we have here list, set, tuple and here the dictionary. So list you can define into square bracket, set you can define into the curly braces, and tuple you can define into round bracket, and the dictionary is also defined with the curly braces, but here you have the key and opposite to key you have their value. So that's how you define their list, set, tuple and the dictionary. You can define a variable and you can start writing any variable name, but the name of variable doesn't start with the number here. So you can simply do here something like this. Variable 1 is equal to, you put there a list there, a square bracket, in that you can put any random numbers and you can put any data type. You can put it something like that, and any other data type, perhaps you can put here a float as well. So that's the variable 1. And the type of this variable 1 is actually list there. You can simply check here the type of variable 1. Now it becomes their list. Other than this, we can check here the set. So for set, similarly we can do here variable 2 is equal to curly braces. I provide here 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe false and true. Then I print here variable 2. Now you have got there as a set. And another thing, if you see there, if you notice, if we printed this list, the order of these values were preserved there. But in case of set, the order of these values are not preserved. So if order of these values are not preserved, that means we cannot do the indexing there. So the indexing means in a list we can select any of these value by putting the index number. For example, if I put here, let me show you here. If I put here variable 1 0, that means this value will get printed. And if I put here variable 2, that means 0, 1 and 2, the 34 will get printed. But in case of the variable 2, we cannot do that because this is set and set is not indexable. If you provide here 0, it is going to throw you the error because set is not indexable. So you cannot get the set with the index. And other than that, there is another property for set. Set does not store duplicate value. For example, if I put here 2, 3 and 4 again, now you see there these values are 2 times, and if I print it, I'll be getting here the same result because this is not storing the duplicate values. Alright, but list actually stores the duplicate values. For example, I can simply just copy it from there and I can write it here 2, 3 and 4, and if I run it and here I print variable 1, now you are able to see here 2, 3 and 4 value. That means set does not allow to include duplicate value, but list allows you to include the duplicate values. And to define the tuple, you can simply put there you can simply put there round brackets. So something like that. I say it as variable 3, and in that variable 3 I write something like this, 232, and maybe this is str, something like that. And if you check the type of variable 3, you should be able to get it as the tuple. But the tuple also allows indexing like the list, and but you cannot modify the tuple values there. So the tuple you cannot modify. Set is not indexable, that means set you cannot also modify, but you can add there, but you cannot replace values from any of these index in the set. In list you can modify it by replacing the value or adding a new value, but in the tuple you can do the indexing. If you want the first value, you can simply provide their variable 30. The first value comes, the last value with the -1. So this is the last value. Let's go ahead and see how you can define the dictionary. So the dictionary you can define with the curly braces, but in the curly braces you have something like key, and against the key you have there a value. For example, I provide here variable 4 equal to curly braces. In this I provide here, let's say 1, and against this 1 I'm going to provide here digit 1, and then I say here this is the country, and I say here India, and thereafter I say here the maybe the capital. All right, and there I say here New Delhi, something like this. All right, so what happens here, these are known as key, and these are known as here, these are known as the value there. You can also provide any data type of the value which we have seen previously. You can provide str, integer, float, complex, list, double, range, dict, whatever you want to provide, you can provide that as its value. Other than that, you can also provide something like, let's say you just want to say that this is array. You can also provide here a list, something like this. And if you run it, now you see there it has successfully executed, and you can print here the variable 4. So this becomes their dictionary. Something like set. Dictionary also does not store duplicate keys there. So these are the keys, these are the values there. So dictionary does not also store the duplicate keys. You can get the keys here, variable 4 dot keys. This will give you all the keys used into variables. Other than that, you can also use something like values to get all the values. So you have got here all the keys, you have got here all the values in your dictionary. You can access the dictionary value by providing its key. For example, you have variable 4. If you provide its dictionary key, you can simply get the value there. And if you provide here the array, the key is this and the value is 1, 2, 3. If you just print it, now you are getting here 1, 2, 3. Alright, so this is all about in this lesson. I'll see you in next one.